Hiya, welcome to GGKCS, a multi-generational podcast / FlossTube for fans of all things knitting, cross-stitch, and geeky. I'm Cece. I'm so glad you're here today. Today is Sunday, the 2nd of January, 2022. Wow. And this is episode 475. I'd like to say a big welcome back. Love y'all to all returning viewers, and a big hiya to any new viewers. Thanks for giving us a shot. Hope you enjoy the show. I have got a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode, but I wanted to give y'all a final tally because last week, y'all, the days, they've run together. I think I told y'all about like where I was with finishes and not thinking I was going to have any more finishes after the preemie hat, but that was not true because I had another finish on New Year's Eve. So I ended the year with 85 finishes combined between knitting and cross stitch. 52 of those were preemie hats. There was 9 pairs of socks, 4 cowls, 4 pairs of fingerless mitts, and 16 cross stitch pieces. So 85 FOs for 2021. I'm thrilled. I'm really pleased with where I got to, and yeah, excited to see what the new year brings. We know I will have at least 52 FOs because of preemie hats, but I will have more than that, definitely. So I just wanted to give y'all a recap on that. I added it all up for you, and I'll show you that final, the final preemie hat and final FO here upcoming in the segments. So with that, because we got a lot, let's get started. All right, let's talk about what's on the needles. And surprisingly, more than one thing on the needles at a time. So my first 2 projects are actually both in my Little Fish Stitches kitty bag. So let me get to this first one. So I am knitting another pair of shorty fingerless mitts from the pattern, the freebie pattern that I adapted on US 3's 3.25 mil needles. I'm using Knit Picks Felici in the bookshop colorway. And I will tell you more about this yarn coming up in Yummies. So I cast these on yesterday, and there is my progress. So I have not made it through all the colors yet. It looks like the gray, the pale gray is what's, well, I don't know, because we've already done a pale gray. I don't know. We'll see how it looks. But yeah, so I'm working on these. I did the math that if I do approximately 24 rows a day on these shorty fingerless mitts, I can finish them within a week's time. So hopefully I will have those finished for y'all for next week's episode. So, and then the second thing on the needles is a hoe, which is a half finished object. I have on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, I participated in the Black Needle Society Zooms. I'm about to sneeze. Maybe not. Don't you hate when that happens? And it was quite funny because a few of us were talking about some knitting stuff, and they were like, okay, how many terms did you just hear that I don't understand? So I explained that a hoe is a half finished object. So I have 1 sock finished. So this is my Christmas shorty socks. Yes, I know it's after Christmas. I don't care. And yes, it's Christmas yarn and shorty socks. I don't care. It's fine. It's my French Vanilla Cappuccino sock pattern, which this is something else we discussed on the Black Needle Society Zoom because somebody asked if I had a pattern for shorty socks. And so here's my pattern for you. It's my French Vanilla Cappuccino sock pattern. If you're knitting them toe up, after the heel, I do approximately 3 inches and then bind off in a stretchy bind off and let the top roll. If you're knitting them cuff down, cast on with a stretchy cast on, knit about 3 inches, do your heel, do your foot. So that's the modification. This yarn is West Yorkshire Spinner's Signature 4-ply in the Fairy Lights colorway, and these are on US 1.5, 2.5 mil needles. And I finished this one. Are you about to sneeze? Is there something in the air? Because Pink looks like she's about to sneeze as well. A sneeze for everyone. I promise I'm not sick. I'm not sick. Okay. Yeah, so I finished this one on New Year's Eve. And I'm going to wait to cast on the second one until I finish the shorty fingerless mitts. So there is that. And then, drop that right there. In my project bag from Nerdbird Makery, this is all different types of makers. I cast on my year-long project. So I am going to be knitting. Trying to get the good photo to be able to show you. The Dust of Snow Wrap by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. And I am using the yarn advent calendar that Silver and Friends gave to me for Christmas. I'm looking for my label here so I can tell you the yarn. Okay, so this is on US 6's 4mm needles. And the yarn I started with is Barocco Folio in the 4 Pearls colorway. It's rayon and superfine alpaca. I had a very sad moment yesterday on the Black Needle Society Zoom where I had to frog 1,000 stitches. So this pattern has attached I-cord on both edges, and I realized at around row 10 that I had dropped a stitch in the attached I-cord back on like row 3, and there was no way I could repair it. If it had been like garter stitch, yeah, I would have totally just repaired it. There was no way. So, and it was going to take longer to tink back than it would be to just frog it and start it again. So I started it again, and so I've cast on, and I've done the first 2 rows. And I don't know that you can really see the attached I-cord since it's still very early on, but it will have attached I-cord up both sides. So my goal on this is to knit 2 and just a little bit of the 3rd color every month, because it starts with 1 color and then it fades in a 2nd color over 8 rows. And then it does the 2nd color, and then it fades in the 3rd color over 8 rows. So I want to get to the end of using the 2nd color of the month every month. So that means I will knit 4 rows of the 3rd color every month. So that is my plan. So it is about, let's see, it looks like it's about 48 rows a month. So I need to knit approximately 12 rows a week to get this finished by the end of the year. So that is my plan. All right, well, that is everything that is on my needles. But I have some FOs to show you. I think actually I showed you. I need to go look at my show notes. I have my preemie hat, but I may have already showed you the other FO last week. We'll see. I'll be right back. And now it's time for my finished projects. And yes, I did show you, that's them right there. There, those shorty fingerless mitts last week. So my knitting FO for the week was my final preemie hat for 2021. This is preemie hat number 52 for the year. And it's from my free top-down preemie hat pattern that you can get on our website, Java Pearl Designs. And then if you go to patterns and then free patterns, the link is there to download it for free. And as always, everything that we talk about in the podcast is in the show notes at GGKCS.com. Okay, this was done on US 6's 4mm needles, and the yarn is It's All About You Fidalgo Sock in the Cherry Blossoms version 2.0 colorway and Barocco Vintage DK in the white colorway. Hi, somebody just came to visit. Hello, baby. Mama's talking to the people. Do you want to talk to the people? Do you have something to say? No? Okay. So I held the cherry blossoms doubled and used it up. So that's like the green and the pinks and the browns, and there was some white. And then, hi baby. And then the white for the pom-pom and the stripe, and then I had to use the white to finish it off. But that was another leftover skein of yarn that I got to remove from my spreadsheet and move it to the all used up section, which makes me very happy. So 52 preemie hats. I've got one for today cast on and ready to go, and we will start it all over again. All right. My other FO is coming in the next segment, so let's move on and talk about that. And now it's time for FlossTube. Okay, so as y'all know, on I think it was December 1st is when I started these. I was stitching the Cats Love Christmas trilogy of patterns by Lindy Stitches. And I stitched on Fiber on a Whim 16 count Aida in the Cypress colorway using some Classic Colorworks and DMC. And I had previously shown y'all that I had finished number 1, Cats Love Christmas. Number 2, Cat Eviction Notice. And on New Year's Eve, I finished Accident Free Days. So I am super pleased. I was like, I don't know if I can finish this last one. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try. And I did. I finished it on the Black Needle Society Zoom. So I think I mentioned this last week, maybe. One of my goals for this year is I want to stitch a Christmas ornament every month. And so, I'm not going to count these as stitched these months, but I think what I'm going to do is finish these as Christmas ornaments. So this will be 3 Christmas ornaments. And then I still have a good chunk of fabric left, and I think this is a really good color for some more Christmas ornaments. So I think that's probably what I'll do, is use the rest of that fabric for more Christmas ornaments. So there was that. Okay, I started my New Year New Start. This is in my Outlander To Bed or To Sleep project bag that I had custom made for me by Stitch Toolbox. And I am stitching on Steel City Stitchers 16 count Aida in the Crimson Peak colorway. I am using Forbidden Fiber Co. in the River of Life colorway. I'm doing 2 threads over 1. And I am stitching The River by Modern Folk Embroidery. So everything except the project bag, including the needle minder that I'll show you that's on my project, all came from Black Needle Society. The pattern, the needle minder, the floss came from the Resolution stitching box in November, and the fabric actually came in the Trick or Treat box. So I am making a modification. So there was quite a few of us yesterday. I promise you, I am going to show you in a minute, but I want to tell you what I'm doing. So there was quite a few of us yesterday on the Zoom that were starting this as our New Year New Start. And there was a discussion of modifications and such. And one modification was that to take the alphabet and numbers here and replace it with this motif down here. Someone was leaving in one band to put like their family's initials and the year in. What I think I've almost got it nailed down, that this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the alphabet and the numbers. I'm going to replace it with this motif, but I'm going to flip it so that it's mirrored on the top and the bottom, and then not do the alphabet and the numbers. So that, I think, is what I'm going to do. So I did the math on this, and in order to finish this year, I need to stitch, I think it was 183 points, whatever, stitches a week. So I rounded that up to 185. So here is week 1's 185 stitches. That is the New Year New Start needle minder. So that is going to be the width of it, because this is the edge. But I have plenty of fabric. It's folded over. So, so there we go. 185 stitches in, a lot to go. But that is going to be, so y'all will see that on a weekly basis as I work on it and have a ginormous FO at the end of the year. Okay, and then last thing, in my Winnie the Pooh project bag from Knit Run Dig is my Edinburgh Castle by Terra Luna Stitchery. Everything that I am using for this project is in the show notes. I want to show you, I need to put the picture up on the screen. I don't think I've airdropped it over to my big computer. I will do that. Okay, so I'm doing this as my 25/7 piece where I stitch a minimum of 25 stitches a day. Most days, at least 25 minutes. Some days I do longer just because I get in the groove and just do it. So my weeks for this end on Fridays. So on Friday, it just happened. Friday was New Year's Eve. So when I finished my 25/7 stitching on New Year's Eve, I took it out of the Q-snap because I needed to move it anyway. But here is this photo that I took. And at this point, I was at 46,800 stitches out of 265,824 stitches complete. I was at 17.606% complete and 9 out of 60 pages done. Okay, now let me show you now. I stitched, I think, about 150 stitches on this yesterday. When I finish this column, there is 1, 2, 3, plus 4 stitches in this column, and that will be the width of the project. So as y'all know, I've been stitching this in columns, and we had some very good discussion yesterday on the Zoom that really enlightened me. So because I had seen people stitching in diagonals and I didn't totally understand what the reasoning was. So I just asked. And so apparently, depending on your tension, if you stitch in columns or rows, it can, like, I know y'all can see lines right now. When I wash this, those lines are going to go away. But it can, because you are finishing, like, you know, you're finishing at the edge here and then you're starting again, it can leave a defined line when you look at the pattern, like you can kind of see. So that is a reasoning behind the diagonals, to keep it from leaving that more defined line when you look at the finished project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish out this column and the 3 and a little bit of the 4th this way, like I've been doing. And then I'm going to have to take it out of the Q-snap again, move it back to the start of the next row of pages, and I'm going to stitch diagonals, but only the length of the page. So it should be, so this page, like, this is the length of one page. I think that, if I remember right, like the bottom 2 rows of this 8th box are actually on the next page, but I wanted to finish the full 10 by 10 square. So whatever it takes to do it on the diagonal and finish out the last square on the bottom of the page is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do the whole row of pages across, but in the diagonal. So that is my plan. By the end of January, I will definitely be done, potentially even sooner than that, but with these last few columns, and then I will move to the next row of pages. So there we go. And I'm excited to see how much progress I can get on this in 2022. That was the reason I also took that photo, is because I wanted to be able to see what my year-long progress was. So, you know, I'll be able to see and look and be like, okay, I had approximately 3.5 columns left on the top row here, and let's see how far I can get on this second row of pages. So Okay, that is everything for this segment. There is cross-stitch content coming up, so I think you should stick around. And let's move on to the next segment. And now it's time for our favorite part of the show, Yummies. Yummies are our current favorite things, things we like, things we want to talk to you about, Yummies. I just opened this bag to show you. So okay, so y'all know that I knit birthday CC socks for my bestie and her family and Dammy and, every year. And a lot of what is in my stash is colors that may not necessarily appeal to different people, because a lot of what is left are definitely CC color. So I decided to put in a Knit Picks order to order some Felici. I ordered 10 skeins because siren. That should be like a drinking game, Here's siren, have a drink. Since I live right by the fire station. Each skein is 50 grams. So it takes at least one skein and part of a second skein to knit a full pair of socks. So I ordered 5 colorways and I wanted to show you. So these are all the Felici fingering weight, which are 50 gram, 218 yard skeins. They're 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon, and they're all self-striping. So this one is Double Dog Dare. Y'all saw this one earlier, Bookshop. This is Beatnik. This is Rustic Cabin. And this is Vampire Vibes. So the reason I did 5 colors, 10 skeins is because when I did that, I got free shipping. Okay. If you're bothered by the crinkle, close your ears. I need to put these all in my spreadsheet of my stash. So there was that. The other thing that came, I really don't like labels. I prefer magazines to be packaged in something else so that a label is not on the actual magazine. But this one, knock on wood, seems to be pulling off pretty easily. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the new issue of Just Cross Stitch magazine came. This is February 2022. I have to admit that I have not been super impressed in the every other month issues of late. I mean, there's always, something in there that is cute or whatever, but I think they do a really good job with like the Halloween and Christmas issues, but yeah. This one is kind of cool. I mean, it's nothing that I'm going to stitch, but it is they're quilt blocks with birds in the center, and they're going to do one every issue. So that's kind of cool to take something that is a quilted look and do it as a cross stitch. I'm not going to show you everything. I'm going to show you a few things. This snowflake sampler is kind of cute, and you could totally do that with a toile and make it all shimmery. What if you had an toile blue or like it's not called a toile. The fabric, opalescent fabric that's blue with white toile thread. That would be really pretty cool. Flipping through, there's quite a bit that is not my taste at all. That's not really anything disparaging about the designer or the pattern. It's just not my cup of tea. There is a really interesting article called Stitching Around the World, The History of Assisi Embroidery. And then they made an Italian Assisi bell pull pattern. So that's really, really cool. For that, let's see. This Valentine's little village is kind of cute. have a love-hate relationship with this one. Coffee is my Valentine. Great. I don't love the font. I feel like this almost feels blurry here. So if I were to stitch this, I think that I would figure out a different font, because that one just doesn't appeal to me that much. Let's see. What else? These are really cute little cards and tags for Valentine's Day. So if you're doing something for a Valentine, you can make these little pieces. They're small. They're only, let's see, 40 by 44. So definitely. Yeah, that's about it. Well, no, let's see. Oh, they are, see, I don't know. Their year-long series for Christmas this year is 12 Days of Christmas. But it's just not really my style. So, yeah. So we will hope for something that maybe appeals to me a little more in the April issue. So, all right, I think that is everything for Yummies. So I think we're ready to move on to the next segment. And now it's time to talk about what we're reading, watching, and listening to. And we have come to the part of the show where I have some prize announcements. So our 2021 RAL Read-Along Year-Long Challenge has come to an end. I'd like to give a shout out to the people who read in October, November, and December. The people that read every day are Betty H.S., Brittany M., Jane S., Penny G.S., Silver D, and Tyra J. And the people that read 69 to 79 of the 92 days are Andrea J, Kathy C, and Roberta B. Great job, everyone. And the people that who read every day in October, November, and December, I believe that's correct, are the same ones that read all 365 days. So shout out on that. We had 2 people complete the Modern Mrs. Darcy 2021 Reading Challenge, and they got 12 bonus entries into the giveaways. They are Jane S. and Tyra J. Okay. I want to say a huge thank you to our prize donors for our grand prize bundles that are on the screen right now. If you want to, I'm not going to read all the prizes because there's a lot. There's yarn, there's cross stitch stuff, there's stickers, there's patterns, etc., etc., etc. If you want to see the list of everything, you can go to the show notes, ggkcs.com, and they are in the show notes. Okay, but I do want to say this. If you are one of the 3 prize winners, I need you win both of these things, and you're going to need to tell me when you send me an email, ggkcspodcast@gmail.com. You're going to need to tell me your full name, mailing address, and then you're going to need to tell me what 1 ebook or 4 single patterns from us that you want. JavaPearlDesigns.com is where you can go look. So you either get 1 ebook or 4 single patterns. And then you also get 1 PDF cross-stitch pattern from Bendy Stitchy Designs. And I'm sorry, I did not. I can never remember what Michelle's website link is. Give me just a second. It is bendystitchydesigns.com, and I will put a link to that in the show notes. So you get to choose 1 PDF pattern from there. So if you're a winner, full name, mailing address, what 1 ebook or 4 single patterns from us you want, and what 1 PDF cross-stitch pattern from Bendy Stitchy that you want. As always, you have 30 days from the day this episode goes live to claim your prize, or you forfeit it. All right. We ended up having, I believe it was like right around 450 entries, which is amazing. So, the winner of bundle number 1 was entry number 341, Tyra J. The winner of bundle number 2 was entry number 432, Jane S. And the winner of bundle number 3 was entry 361, Roberta B. So, congratulations, Tyra J, Jane S, and Roberta B. Email me with that information, and we will get those prizes out in the post to you. So exciting. In addition, for the October, November, December quarterly RAL, we have 2 winners who get to choose an ebook from us, and they are Penny GS and Silver D. So please look and see what ebook you would like. Send me a message, and you need to email me so I can respond with the PDF of the ebook, javapearldesigns.com, patterns, ebooks, choose one. And the winner of a single pattern from our site is Andrea J. So Penny GS, Silver D, what ebook would you like? And Andrea J, what pattern would you like? Whew. Alrighty, and y'all, we are continuing with the 2022 year-long challenge. If you've never participated before, this is a challenge for you to read 15 minutes a day, every day. Audiobooks do count. I don't care what you're reading, as long as you're reading. In our Facebook group, if you're not a member, you need to make sure to answer the questions. Cat's name, I think is the first one, Pink or Pink Pearl. Who's the mama, Cece or Dammy? Cece. And then you have to agree with the rules, and somewhere in the rules there's a password that you have to enter. And then we will approve your membership. So there is a thread in the Facebook group for January, February, March. You post one time and then you edit that post. And the minimum you have to tell us is that you read, you need to put the date and that you read 15 minutes. Some people like to track exactly how many minutes they read. Silver D makes these amazing graphs every month, and then did a year-long one of what they read. They're amazing. Some people like to track what books they're reading. Whatever you want to do is fine. The minimum I need is the date and that you read the 15 minutes. And then beyond that, I leave it in your hands. If you read 86 to 90 days in January, February, March, you'll be entered into one or more giveaways for an ebook from us, and you'll get it works out to be $1.20 coupon code for our Etsy store, which is, I think it's 20% off a pattern, but because some of the patterns are a little bit different price, we do it in a fixed dollar amount. And then if you read 59 to 85 of the 90 days, you'll be entered into one or more giveaways for a single pattern from us. By participating in the quarterly, so January, February, March, you can earn entries into the year-long challenge. And there's also still, if you read all 365 days, you get 10 bonus entries. And Martin and Mrs. Darcy is not doing a reading challenge in the same way this year, so we're just not going to do that part. So, read 15 minutes a day, post, that's what it is. If you have any questions, let us know. There is a chatter thread in the Facebook group. If you have questions, you can post there. But yeah, read 15 minutes. That's what it is. So, okay, let me tell you what I've been reading. I'm continuing to read How to Heal Yourself When No One Else Can by Amy B. Shire. I am reading for my Unashamed Love Collective book club, Walking the Bridgeless Canyon, Repairing the Breach Between the Church and the LGBTQ Community by Kathy Baldock, which is a fascinating book. I am reading A Poem Every Night from Inward by Young Pueblo. I am reading and writing in Get Untamed the Journal by Glennon Doyle. And I finished book number 151 for 2021 which was written in my own heart's blood, the 8th book in the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon. I had read it before. I wanted to reread it before I started reading, which I now have started reading, Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, which is the 9th book in the Outlander series. So definitely Outlander books are not safe for children. And there you go. Okay. Some of what I've been watching this last week is episodes for the episodes of Law and Order Special Victims Unit for the That's Messed Up in SVU podcast. We're rewatching season 2 of Gilmore Girls with I Am All In with Scott Patterson podcast. I finished watching a series on Apple TV called Truth Be Told, which is it's about a true crime podcaster, but it is nothing like Only Murders in the Building, which I feel like Only Murders in the Building, yes, they're dealing with murder, but there's a much more comedic kind of feel to it. Truth Be Told is very dark and very, it's not safe for children, but it was really, really interesting. And then I started watching the new season of Queer Eye on Netflix and crying every episode. They're so good. So good. I have not watched the new Doctor Who yet that came out yesterday, but that is on my list to do today. I thought I was going to watch it last night, and then the Black Angel Society Zoom did not end until after 11 my time. So we were on for quite a while, which is why I got so much crafting done. And then listening to, of course, my favorite murder podcast and random Spotify playlists. All right, that's everything for this segment. Let's move on to the next one. Coffee Bot had something to say, I guess. All right, now we're going to talk about the December, January, February Walking in Winter Wonderland. Ow. So it is the first podcast of the month, so let me give you all the details. This started on December 1st, and it runs through the 28th of February. It's for any project that you knit, crochet, weave, spin, stitch, or sew. That includes cross-stitch, embroidery, quilting, clothes making, project bag making, any of that. Anything that you're stitching or sewing can be included. That you can convince us is related to winter. Your fallback is you made it in the winter. Even if you're in the other hemisphere, we're still counting it. It's all good. The big rule is no whips are allowed. So you have to start your project December 1st or later and finish it by February 28th. And every project that you knit, crochet, weave, and spin has to be at least 20 yards, 18.3 meters. And you post that in the FO thread in the Facebook group, and that's Sirens. Drinking game. Yep. That's a lot of sirens. That's a little bit nerve-wracking. You post it in the FO thread. Sorry, y'all. The FO thread in the Facebook group, and that's one entry into the giveaways. If your project is not at least that yardage, you need to group more than one finished project into a single photo, and the items in that photo have to total at least that minimum yardage. And then that photo will be one entry. If you're stitching or sewing, we're going to leave it to your best judgment. If you have any questions, GGKCS podcast at gmail.com. You're more than welcome to polydip in other alongs as long as it fits in with their rules. There is a Google form linked in the show notes and in the Facebook group. If you could please goodness, my Texas twang's coming out. You could please fill that out. It helps us know when we are drawing the prize winners, what crafts you do. Because if you're not a knitter, crocheter, weaver, we don't want to send you yarn. Or if you're not a cross stitcher, we don't want to send you something cross stitch. If you don't fill out that form, we give you whatever prize that happens. So that's what we ask for you to do. Speaking of prizes, if you would like to donate one, you can email us at ggkcspodcast@gmail.com. A big thank you, love, to all of our prize donors. The prizes are on the screen right now. Let me run through those. We have a Santa Claus hoop cross-stitch kit. We have Audine Wools by Knit Crate worsted, 2 skeins of Turtle Dove donated by Carlene. 2 winners will each win 1 skein. We have a Snowflake cross-stitch journal donated by Lori. And we have a Countess Ablaze braid in the Northern Lights colorways. If you want to see larger photos of those or anything, show notes, ggkcs.com. You have to be a member of the Facebook group in order to participate. The social media hashtag, if you want to post your photos on social media, is hashtag GGKCS Winter 2122. We will lock the FO thread the morning of March the 1st and announce the prize winners on the next podcast after that. And as with all of our giveaways, owls, prizes, etc., you have 30 days from the day the podcast goes live to claim your prize or you forfeit it. I try to give you usually a day or two grace, but that way we're not just sitting waiting for prize winners to claim their prizes. There is a chatter thread in the Facebook group if you want to talk about what you're working on, get suggestions, etc., etc. And the people who finished projects in the final week of 2021 are Brittany M, Emily R, Jane S, Mandy P, Sarah G, and Silver D. Great job, y'all. Keep working on your projects. You have just under 2 months to get them finished and posted, and you could be a prize winner. All right, let's move on to the next segment. And now it's time for Ask the Geeks, the part of the show where you ask us questions and we try to answer them. This one was originally asked and answered in 2019. Denise asks, I know you've said, or at least I remember in some reality, possibly only mine, that you are not much of a cook or not a fan of cooking. Has that changed at all? Who does most of the cooking in your household? What are some of your favorite recipes that are made in your kitchen? Is there a preferred cookbook or cooking tool that you use? Denise, we are in the same reality because you do remember correctly that I don't enjoy cooking, and I am not a big cook. Dammy does most of the cooking when they're here. When they're not here, I tend to be like, I have the same lunch that I eat every single day. And it's fruit and vegetables and cheese and nuts and berries. And that is my lunch every day. Dinners, I tend to be one that eats something like cheese and crackers or like salami and tortilla chips, or, just very much finger food type stuff. I do sometimes, I really do like from Trader Joe's has this chicken fried rice in the freezer section that you can microwave just like a bowl at a time. So I do eat that sometimes. I do like I can't think what company makes them, but it's, they're cups of brown rice that cook in the microwave in like 1 minute. And so sometimes I'll have those with like a can of chicken breast stirred into it with a little bit of cheese. So I'm very much, I do very simple. Some of that comes from when I was so very sick. I couldn't stand at the kitchen counter for more than just a tiny bit of time. And so, yeah, I'm just not a big cook. If I do cook, I tend to use the crock pot more often than not. I have a recipe from a friend for crock pot pizza, which is one of our faves. We love it so much, and it's a great recipe for like big groups because you can do more than one crock pot with different types of pizza toppings. I can do an enchilada casserole in the oven. My mom has this recipe for a chicken and rice casserole in the oven. But since it's just me most of the time, I don't cook. I just don't, I have these aspirations of like, I should cook, and then I don't. So that's what happens. I tend to be a very, simple eater. One thing that I'm looking at potentially changing in my diet this year, not diet, like not I'm going on a diet, because that I almost said a bad word. That is not something that I will ever do again. It's not healthy and I'm not doing it. But I know that I feel so much better when I eat gluten-free. I don't have celiac, but I do have a gluten intolerance. And when I eat, I can eat little bits of gluten and it doesn't seem to bother too much. But if I eat a lot of gluten, it not only causes the gastrointestinal issues, but I break out in hives on my hands, which is not a fun thing. When you need to use your hands to do what makes you happy, crafting, breaking out is not a fun thing. So I'm looking at potentially going back to a more gluten-free diet, which means I need to change a little bit of stuff in my normal routine, because I tend to eat smaller snack/meals every few hours versus having 3 big meals a day. So that is something that I'm going to be investigating and figuring out what I want and need to do to see if that helps me feel physically better. So thank you so much for the question, Denise. I hope that I answered it sufficiently. If you have a question for us, you can ask us anything. We have not yet said no to a question. You can go to the Ask the Geeks thread in the Facebook group. It's pinned as an announcement, and post it there. You can post it in the comments of any of our YouTube videos. You can send me a DM on Instagram, on Facebook. You can email us, ggkcspodcast@gmail.com. We're happy to answer any and all of your questions. I mean, we obviously reserve the right to say, no, we're not answering that. But thus far, that has not happened. So, all right, let's move on to the next segment. And with that, we've made it through the first episode of 2022. Huzzah. Okay, announcements. A reminder, I think I told you all about this last week because of the change that happened yesterday. I am a rep for the Black Needle Society. My code, JavaPearl5, JAVAPURL and the number 5, can now be used to save 5% on everything in the vault at theblackneedlesociety.com. The vault is where they put extras and the leftovers from the boxes. So both the every other month boxes as well as the special edition boxes. Yesterday they put up the nice list leftovers, and I know some things sold out, but I know there's still some stuff in the vault, and you can use the code repeatedly over and over again. So JavaPearl5. If you're interested in getting the every other month boxes, you can join the wait list at theblackneedlesociety.com. When a spot becomes available, they email the next person on the list. I believe you have 24 hours to respond, or it moves to the next person. Their special edition boxes, as I mentioned last week, are not limited. You don't have to be on the wait list in order to get the special edition boxes. I'm really excited about the upcoming boxes. January's box is Happy Hour stitching. March's box is Steampunk. And May's box, hold on. I want to say it in the right order. Oh wait, I have it right here in my inbox because I was so prepared, and then I forgot to open it. Oh wait, I lied. Hold on. I thought March was steampunk. Anyway, there's a steampunk one coming, and Mermaids, Unicorns, and Dragons, oh my, is also an upcoming one in the every other month boxes. And then they have quite a few special edition boxes. I believe the Murder Mystery box is already sold out. There is Summer and Stars Hollow. That one I think might be sold out as well. They are planning to do an in-person retreat in August. There's the Trick or Treat box. There is the nice list box. There's all kinds of fun things. So you should definitely check that out. theblackneedlesociety.com. We are continuing to be co-hosts of the Pride Along that started back in May of last year and ends at the end of June this year. There's a YouTube video in the show notes, ggkcs.com, with instructions, and our hashtag is hashtag GGKCS Pride Along 2122. We'd like to say a big thank you, love y'all, to everyone who supports the podcast. As we've said multiple times over the years, without y'all, there wouldn't be a podcast / FlossTube. So we're grateful for each and every one of you. A big thank you to those who support us financially. That money goes primarily to paying for shipping of prizes, like the 3 grand prize bundles that we'll be sending out, and for technology behind the scenes. If you would like to support us financially, there are several ways. Patreon and YouTube Join are ways that you can pledge a certain amount to your favorite creatives and earn rewards or perks by donating. And if you would like more information or want to sign up, you can go to patreon.com/ggkcs or click the join button under any of our YouTube videos. If you'd like to make a one-time donation, there is a PayPal button in the sidebar of our website. We are bookshop.org affiliates, which is an online bookstore with a mission to financially support local independent bookstores. By purchasing a book from our shop, we earn a commission and local independent bookstores earn money from your purchase. Our shop is at bookshop.org/shop/GGKCS. And we are amazon.com.co.uk and .ca affiliates. If you're going to shop on Amazon, if you go to our site first, click on the appropriate Amazon link, do your shopping as normal. We earn a little money back based on what you purchase. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's a great way to support the podcast by doing something you were going to do anyway. You can find us online at ggkcs.com. There are links to everywhere else we are online. Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, the Facebook group, etc., etc., etc. With that, I'm going to tell you goodbye. Make sure to stay tuned after the credits for a very cute video of Pink Pearl. And I want to wish you the happiest and healthiest new year as possible. Remember to get your vaccine, get your booster, wear your masks. Breakthrough cases are coming through. And protect yourself and those you love. And even those you don't love. Just saying. And I hope that this year is full of so much creativity for you and that it is just a year full of love and kindness. Until next week, happy crafting. Talk to you again soon. Bye. Are you being a couch potato? Hi. Oh, kisses. Are you looking at the snow? Is there a lot of snow outside? Do you know it's supposed to snow more? Yeah. More kisses? Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Thank you, pretty girl.